Welcome back to VL Speaks. I'm Vera and Elisa. This is episode 25, The Body Electric. It was inspired by a song. The title was inspired by a song, and I'm not going to sing it. You can look it up. Well, welcome back. Okay, so we're going to talk about the body. It's a big, broad subject. So I'm going to talk about activity, exercise, the different phases of our life that we go through in our bodies, and it changes also in age and between the sexes as well. We have different hormonal stuff going on, but hormonal stuff nonetheless. So, episode 1, I dived in a little bit into what recommends me to talk about this. I have extensive background in the health and wellness industry, teaching and working with people. I started off in the health club industry. I had studied microbiology, and I was very athletic and active when I was very young and loved the health sciences and got into the health club business back when it was really in its heyday. And then I went into management and I was teaching, and then I got into personal training and worked with people that were considered special population, meaning that they were either very young or very much older, or they were injured, ill, born with diseases, came upon some diseases, were coming back from rehabilitation, were coming back from restructuring due to an illness. And my job was to help them bridge the gap between coming out of rehabilitation and then not quite going into mainstream activity, which is a really niche place to be. And it's also it was an incredible experience to learn about pathology, origins of diseases, medications, and then how all these different people manifested these illnesses and how it affected their bodies and their minds. And then I got into yoga and yoga therapy and Ayurveda, and I was an Ayurvedic practitioner and worked with many different types of practitioners throughout the years, experienced working in different modalities, and it's been a rich experience, and I want to share some of the wisdom that's been acquired from that more than 2-decade journey. So here we are now, and it's the new year. And lots of folks like to make resolutions and do something about it, like join a gym or start going to a class or learn something new, whatever it may be. The body is the only way that we can be here, right? So we want to keep it as healthy as possible for as long as possible so that we get to enjoy our lives, because staying in your body and not having a healthy body and be able to do things is very, very frustrating. Alrighty, let's start what happens when you're just getting into activity, which is usually when we're younger, right? There are plenty of things that might interest us, and then sometimes those things that you were interested in then are really not feasible for you to be doing now. Like, you played football in high school, probably not going to do that at 50 years of age. You might have even suffered some injuries that still bother you in your 50s. I have seen this. So how we progress through life and how we move through physical activity and exercise and all of those things, it changes. And it's humbling. Yes, it's humbling. But if you can do it with some grace and ease, then you know what? You can look great at any age and feel good and just do things that are appropriate for that stage of your life. Some people don't like to hear that, but that's just the plain truth. So let's say you are fit. Great. What do you need to be mindful of? Well, just because you are physically fit and strong doesn't mean that you don't need to watch out on your form. And I bring that up because I worked with athletes at Yale, and I remember being in a room as a football team, and these kids were no more than 23 years of age, obviously because they were going to be graduating soon, and more than half of the room had already had some kind of surgery. Knees, shoulders, hands, and eventually some of them need hip surgery. I've seen older men that played a lot of football in college, and later on in life they needed some replacements. So those are the things to think about, the form of what you do, not just the activity that you're doing, but also how you're performing the activity. Because over time, overuse and repetitive motion, it has an effect on your joints, especially the shoulders and the knees and the hips and the spine from the neck on down. So just keep that in mind if you are younger, or if you are at a stage when you're having to transition into doing something else because your body's in a lot of pain. One of the factors that we can always count on is that our body will tell us what's happening, right? It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to listen to it. If you're taking drugs to numb it out, there's a price to pay for that on many different levels. If you're choosing to ignore it because you're like out of sight, out of mind, also there's a price to pay for it, okay? And also your nutrition has a lot to do with how well your body heals and recovers from activity. So keep that in mind, what you're putting in to restore your body. All right, activities. You can do things that are easy on your body that are not going to cause you to be in pain. Anything that you do, if you do it intensely enough, is going to cause pain over time, okay? So keep that in mind. What are these activities that you can do? Well, I mean, yes, you can lift weights. Love lifting weights, but make sure that you have really good form. Now, let's say you don't know whether you're doing something well or not. Vet your instructors and the practitioners that are around you, whether you're going to a health club or you're going to a studio or the YMCA. It could be swimming, it could be martial arts, it could be anything. Yoga. Make sure that you vet your instructors and your practitioners. Now there's no reason not to know about people. We've got the internet with stuff on it. Not like in the 80s and 90s where it was like, well, in the early 90s, it was just the web. Okay? Now there's tons of information for you to gain access to. Make sure you do your homework. You want to be working with people that know the body better than you do and that are going to help you connect to your own body. Because you do want to work with your mind and your body connection. And your breath, okay? You do want to be doing these things because they're all connected and they all affect one another. True story. So let's say you're the kind of person that isn't very good at getting yourself going. Well, find a buddy. Find someone that you know will come and do it with you that needs as much support as you do, and you keep each other accountable. If you're going to studios or to health clubs, whatever it may be, where there are group activities in particular, you may meet people when you go to these classes, and there are plenty of places that you can go to get free passes for a week or for the classes. They're doing it, especially at the beginning of the year. They want to start packing people in because they know it's going to die down in the spring and the summer, and then almost to nothing in the holiday season, and then kick back up again. That is the cycle of this industry. But you want to stay in it, right? So you might find people that when you go to these group classes that they become your support system. I've seen that happen where long-term friendships grow out of people that come to class, people that would not have likely have known each other in any other circumstance come to meet each other, which is nice. You can go for dance classes, ballroom, tango, love tango, Argentine tango, or ballroom. If that's your thing, do it. Dancing in your living room is always good. But watch out because you might pull a hammy. Just something to be mindful of, okay? So let's say that you are a person that is dealing with illness or injury, and you need to come to this with a very, very discerning touch and a soft touch. There are things that you can do. You can walk, right? You can go near nature and walk on a steady path somewhere that's even and bring a friend along. You can swim. Swimming is much easier on the body. You can go to a restorative yoga class. You can go to an internal style of Kung Fu like Tai Chi, Baguazhang, Xin Yi. Those are more mellow. They're more what they call yin, okay? There's a yin yoga class, which is supposed to be restorative. When you're coming off of illnesses and injuries, one of the biggest things, and I say this empirically because I was sick for years and I had to rehab, was coming to the body and coming to the mind with a sense of love and patience, and also of gratitude for continuing to be here, and that the body talks to you and lets you know. It's just a matter of whether or not you're listening, because there are telltale signs. There truly are. And it can make us wiser, being injured and ill. There's a possibility for that. So I recommend having patience. If there's someone that you can talk to, great. A professional that can help you navigate the bridge back to wellness and acceptance of what has happened. And also have meetings with your body. You can do that in journaling. You're like, what the heck is she talking about? When I was ill, because I was deformed, my face was deformed and there was a lot of edema, and things shifted and changed in my face and in my body. Skin specifically, which really hit my vanity button. But I would have meetings. After a meditation practice, I would say, okay, everybody, what's happening? All the systems, the nervous system, the circulatory system, the digestive system, the reproductive system, the circulatory system. I would just have little meetings with my body and say, is there anything you'd like to tell me? Is there anything that you're needing today? And I built a different kind of relationship with my body, because I was always very into the body, the physicality of it. But the subtler aspects, that became a gift. And it's a good thing that I became ill and out of balance at a young age. My body was able to take the hit because I was so physically fit before that. But that may not be the case for everybody. But we can all do with some more loving self-talk and patience, because that's what it's going to take to get better. A lot of love. There was an oncologist that I met once years ago. It was at a lecture. He was the lecturer, and for the life of me, I see his face, but I cannot tell you his name. He's based in Connecticut, and he's a very well-known oncologist. Sweet man. We sat next together at the luncheon. But he told a great story about how he would have all of his patients, and he had from all ages, that when they came in to see him, he would give them a paper and different colored pens and crayons and pencils, and he would ask them to draw a picture about how they felt about their illness. And he said that he could tell a lot from those pictures over time, and knew who would have a better chance of making it and surviving the treatments based on the pictures that they drew, from small children to much older adults. And that gave him insight on how to work with them as his patients. And I thought that was really brilliant. And of course, that makes you think about yourself, like, what kind of picture would you draw? And we should probably do that when we're well, too, right? Like, how do you feel about the life that you're living? And how do you feel about being in this body? And what you would like to make better? And what you're accepting? And, with age, I don't like to use that word, as you mature, you start to look at things differently. I've seen women that really rail against the process of aging and becoming a little bit wiser. And I've seen other women that are embracing it, and males embracing it and loving themselves in whatever shape that they're in, and just doing what they can to be as healthy as they can for as long as they can, and loving the process. And I think it's very important that we do that, especially in today's culture where everybody wants to stay young forever. Yes, absolutely, take care of your body. Take care of your skin. It's the largest organ of the body. Do what you can to keep yourself well, not for vanity's sake, but because, for goodness sake, it's your body. Love yourself. And a little vanity is good. It keeps you motivated. Not that you need to compete with anybody else at any other age or anyone that's standing next to you, but to have a sense of pride and love for yourself. And start with the basics. Always start with the basics. If you are learning something new, be humble. Start here, build on top. Because you may find yourself going further back than you were before you were ill or injured, or right back at the same place. So please be patient with your body, take care of your body, nourish your body, listen to it, be friends with your body and your mind, and be grateful. You know, key things when you're looking from the physicality standpoint is your cardiovascular system, your ability to have stamina, right? And endurance, strength, balance, agility. These things are core components of having a healthier body, and also knowing that you can build on top of that. So I hope this was helpful. And next episode, I'll be talking about relaxation and breath work. And that's why it's so important to do stuff that balances you out. You're balanced in everything. Everything in moderation, including moderation. And tuning into your breath and relaxation helps to do that. And I'm glad that I'm going to do that episode because it keeps me on point. Keeps me honest. All right, I've told you that there's some fun stuff coming up, and it's going to be happening in March. So I'm excited. I'm not going to give too much away, but it's going to be good. Other people collaborating. All right, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to share whatever knowledge and wisdom I've acquired throughout the years and empirically, because I've been through a lot myself. Please be sure to leave a message. You can share this with someone else. And remember, vet the people that you work with. Be discerning, be kind, be loving, be patient to yourself. Alrighty. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you take good care of yourself. See you next time. Ciao.